Tonight, the Majors Series goes under, and as it looks to get the MTCR Australia action set to go on the right foot. Welcome once more to tonight's coverage of the Majors Series and its Pacific region, as tonight we race at Mount Panorama here in Australia. Justin Prince with Austin Darbyshire alongside for tonight's festivities, as 61 drivers race in 3 different races to see if they can get the most points possible in their pursuit for the championship. A lot to talk about when it comes to the popular MTCR format that will be on the docket for tonight's festivities, Austin. Tonight should be an interesting one right from the jump.
Yeah, we've seen it all season. Lots of competition across all these races. And tonight is sure going to be the same, with drivers jumping in and out of trying to make their way up to top split.
Let's explain how that's going to work out here tonight. To quickly explain the format, 61 drivers register for this round. There are 3 races guaranteed per driver, so a chance to be able to gain points 3 times over, 11 laps apiece. Now, for those watching along, there are 2 simulcast heat race broadcasts currently underway. SimSpeed has coverage of heats 1, 3, and 5. Now, what that means is for the first 2 races, Heat 1 for them, Heat 2 for us, it's a snake split organization of the grid. That's based on the pre-qualification coming into tonight for the Major Series. The top 15 in each then go over to the SimSpeed race at Heat number 3. Everyone else gets sent to Heat 4 here on Grid Vision. Then it gets intriguing from there because there was a larger car count than estimated in the pre-format rulings. Race Control has clarified to make the final top split of the night, you must get a top 25 in race number 2/Heat 3. Everyone else gets sent to the bottom split/race 6 for the finale. The top 5 in race 4 here on Grid Vision gets sent to the top split to finish out the night. In our words, a lot of chances to race with different competition, but also a lot of pressure to make sure you try and advance, Austin.
Yeah, well, they want to be on our broadcast anyways, right?
I mean, that's a good point on that, Mark, but it should be a fun time for many. It is popular because of that competitive nature required. Let's take a look at the keys to victory, though. We're talking about some of the potential keys for our drivers, what to keep an eye on for tonight. We're at Mount Panorama Circuit, which is one of the more challenging tracks. With Bathurst, you need to survive. After all, Griffin's Bend, known for stack-ups. The Cutting, known for stack-ups at the start. Lots of potential for stack-ups in the Dipper. The chase, going to be your best passing zone, but also a chance for big crashes. There's no room for error as a result, meaning if you want good points each race, you need to perform well to make sure you're in the top half of the card. But if you don't avoid the errors and don't keep composed, then 2 bad races are going to be hard to recover from tonight. You have to stay composed if you don't get the second key to get into the lock and defend. Final practice just complete now. As drivers finish up their final preparations for tonight, all but one driver registered, and MTCR seem to be ready to go for tonight's festivities. It's a standing start, so those drivers will roll into the starting grid right now. They only have less than 2 minutes to get on it. Let's see how they'll start tonight. Justin Morton in pre-qualification will start alongside Spencer Verwalen amongst the front row. They were 2 of your fastest drivers in practice. Also amongst those in the field tonight is the second row, Thomas Hines along with MTCR. Row 3, it's Kevin Hill, Nathan Medina who will start alongside 2 of the teammates. Then it's Lyndon Swaby, a longtime series veteran, alongside Brian Bennett in the top 8. Trevor Brodsky, Robert Northway, your top 10 in this one, Austin. Looks like the drivers are all set to go. The standing start is ready. Several are not. We're underway, and Nathan Medina did not get going. Already 3 wide of the heart of the field. Rest of your starting grid finishing up on screen as the drivers make their way to the opening lap. Just 11 laps to get the job done to start for race 1. All ready for the jump. The bump draft coming into play. Verwalen, one of the faster drivers in qualification, has talked about, has a lot of pressure from Justin Morton, who's very quick, usually on the ovals.
Apologies there. My mic was muted the whole time I was talking there earlier.
I was about to say, though, draft going to be huge tonight for the second sector, or rather the second half of this race tonight for the laps.
Oh, for sure. That's honestly one of the most exciting sections of any track, I say, in all of motorsports, just because you were just going so fast barreling down the mountain.
Speaking of going around and barreling around said mountain right now, Verwalen currently working his way around the top side of the mountainside, approaching the Dipper. And through Skyline on down, if anyone has a slip-up, that could cause a lot of stack-ups and a lot of trouble. Speaking of which, we've had a stack with Matt Chalker, Steve Store Elder, Brian McGreevy have all crashed in the back. 2 of those drivers just towed, and that means the potential already for drivers to go into the bottom half for race 2.
Yeah, and here we got a replay of that accident as it happened. A little slow to begin, but we'll see it right here. And oh, just a bump on the right rear quarter panel. Oh, and big push from behind.
And a lot of heavy damage for some drivers. Matt Chalker was able to escape from the scene at least, but Joshua Mertz picked up some contact and checkups. Petrosen was involved in that one. Just like that already, several drivers losing a lot of significant time. Up front, though, here's why the draft's important. The run up to the chase, your best passing chance today. Thomas Hines making the move up to second now. So the 20 machine already looking to set some tempo and look to see if it can chase down Verwalen in the Evolve car.
Yeah, these races aren't going to be taking too long with if they continue to run laps like this. This is a very, very quick lap here.
But not only that, it requires a lot of preciseness with the touring cars. It's one of my more funner ones to call, too, because you can go door-to-door racing, have a lot of draft come into play, but also requires a lot of driver skill in theory, because you can mess up a lot of things if you don't know as simply how to get through the gears quickly.
Well, I know I bought the Audi there when it first came out, and I went and did a couple laps, crashed right away, and I definitely never had that skill. These are a little bit harder to drive because I believe they are front wheel drive, correct?
Yes. And then, in turn, a lot of these cars heavier on the rotation. You see side by side for amongst the bubble spots. Joshua Wolf currently holding back. He was 12th last time at the line. Robert Northway losing that 11th spot. So a lot of these drivers in this train need to start thinking a little bit, because here's the thing. If they survive, they move on. They're the top 15 in this train. Next driver back is about 7 to 10 car lengths at minimum back. And that, in that case, is Jason Lotbridge on his own. Got to think smart here, early going.
Yeah, it's still very early in this race, even though it is only 11 laps. I expect there, with especially these drivers driving a pack like this, I do expect there to be some argy-bargy and some chaos a little bit later in the race, not just the opening lap.
So already, so far, so solid when it comes to Wayland and Hines at the moment. Remember, top 15 advance per heat. And that means for a lot of these drivers, the conversation going to be on for that. But also, how about the conversation and some of the speed we're seeing even in amongst this pack here? It's traffic coming up to play a little bit. See the backdrop from Tixier. Bad news for Tixier in this train. He missed the start. He had an issue, apparently, technical-wise, that caused him to be the only driver to miss the standing start. I'll need a lot of big crashes to make up for things already.
Moving back to the front, not much change. Stephen Verweyen leading the lap, leading the first lap, and just continuing to open up the air.
Yeah, already some teammates potentially to close in. That's Stuart Elder, who's amongst those already having to pick up repairs in this race up the road. Talking about how things went pre-qualification for a race like this tonight. There was a lot of drivers who put in time, more than 300 laps for drivers like Wade Sheedy, Claude Boval. Stuart Elder put up more than 230. It takes a lot of preparation, you can argue, to get this car done just right. For reference, for Wayland, who's the leader in this choo-choo train, he picked up the third fastest lap in pre-qualification. He recorded more than 220 laps to get that time.
That's a lot of time on track. I guess this is a track, though, and you do see a lot of drivers who do endurance races here. So maybe that's not as much as you think it, as I think it is.
I mean, there's still the standard on the stock car side of more than 1,000. By the way, more troubles.
Brian McGreevy here.
It's not going well for McGreevy. He's 26th right now, and that's a good way to smack the left side of the car.
Yeah, it's such a difficult part of the track, and if you do toss your weight side to side as much as he was there in this replay, that's the outcome.
Back to the leaders, though, for the time being. Thomas Hines seems to be looking to maybe save a bit. Or not. How about take the run right now while you can take it? Coming up to lap 4, this upcoming time by. And the 20 machine able to zip on by for Wayland back into the popcorn seat. The reason thought maybe save a bit is for some of these drivers, too. There's the argument you can make depending on how close the draft effect is. You want to be in second for the final lap. Not so much third on back, because you can already see they've lost a lot of ground based on the raw pace.
Yeah, lap 4 just getting started here as they come through the start-finish line. And yeah, I expect Thomas to actually break away quite a bit from Steven, and he's probably just biding his time. And hopefully he'll just keep it all underneath.
Thomas Hines, amongst those, considered one of the top drivers, mind you, this year in the Major Series. Has already been on the podcasting tour, in fact. Talk about the performances, to be able to talk about getting back on track. And as well, a couple of years ago, he talked about things like the V8 S-Cops. He's one of the top racers in Australia's top supercar-related series on the platform, outside of, you know, the official one that the series runs in V8 supercars.
Oh, wow. So he's very talented.
Yes. Very talented. And that talent really crosses over in theory, because you think of the endurance races at Bathurst, it takes weeks upon weeks to make sure you don't have a slip up in the race in of itself. For someone like Thomas, he's got the experience already dialed in.
Speaking of slip-ups, we'll take a look at Stuart Elder here, who appears to have had a little mishap on track here.
Not looking great for the Fusion machine. Yep, that's called just parking it in Skyline. At that point, remember, it's almost like a pogo stick. What we're seeing on the elevation, you can argue, Darby. If you hit that elevation so much on the suspension, it can bounce you away.
Yeah, well, it seems like a little bit of something we see quite a bit with these broadcasts that we have on the majors. We were just at the Nürburgring and in the Lotuses, and we were seeing those cars bounce all the way around. Some of them actually left the ground. And these cars, I don't think the suspension would be as forgiving as those other cars were.
Keeping an eye on some of the air battles towards the top half still. This is the choo-choo train coming in towards the final sector. Trevor Brodsky leading it, should say. Lynn Swaby, Austin O'Neill, Nathan Medina, Robbie Bradbury amongst the top 10. And all of them in this choo-choo train effect. In around the transfer, though, and just around said grouping, Christian Abadi starting to swap spots with Jake Fox. Fox having to slow up a little bit. In fact, lap traffic at Tixier zipping by. Stuart Elder is also cycled into this group.
Yeah, and that just puts Jake Fox position back there. Oh, actually, no, sorry. My live timing was a little off there. I was thinking Jake Fox was just outside the transfer spot. It's top 15, right? So Jason here, he's just got to make his way up there.
Now here's the thing about Lottridge. He is quicker right now compared to Fox a bit on the average. 223s on his own. Now, that's going to hurt him without draft, obviously. However, with Fox having to shuffle a lot of traffic, that costs him about a second or two every time he has to change a spot like that.
Yeah, so we have lap traffic that was just behind him.
But that leads to the obvious question. Yeah. That leads to the obvious question. You know he's got a faster pair already used, possibly a little bit fresher tires. Do you say, okay, go ahead, lap car, or do you have the expectation of him just not trying to chase? Here's the thing, Elder is trying to battle for a position with the 070.
Yeah, that is the red car that we see here, or sorry, the blue car here that we do see on camera of Seb Tixer. And yeah, another car just battling a little bit further back than what we were expecting to see, only 5 laps in the race.
Yeah, but that leads to the question, if you're Fox and you know Elder needs to pass this car for at least a better spot for the next race, do you dare let him go?
I'm already losing the draft. I definitely just try and keep keep I lost track of
Elder.
Elder there right behind me.
Count up to halfway this upcoming time by for the first race of 3 you'll see here on Grid Vision tonight. Still in the race lead for those tuning in. It's Thomas Hines to try and get himself up to the top split for race 3/4. But Wayland still in the draft. They have just about ditched Justin Morton, Kevin Hill, and Brian Bennett amidst this choo-choo train effect. These two are identical when it comes to tempo. This should be a wild time, to say the least, with how it's playing out here. If anything, Thomas is running away by 7/10 clean air. You had that expectation you mentioned, Austin, of him trying to pull away. He's doing exactly that right now in the Hyundai.
Yeah, at 6 laps into the race here, he is starting to do exactly that. Let's just hope it doesn't burn off the wheels as much. As you know, well, we cover a lot of oval here on Grid Vision, and you know, tires burn off quite quick in both all 3 of the series that we do cover, and I'm not sure if we should be expecting that here.
Still zipping forward around the track here. Things continue to shape up and shape into play. Starting here, a lot of drivers start to scrub against the walls here too, and In regards to Mount Panorama with the elevation, that kind of is an expectation that eventually you'll end up just scraping that bottom of the car because of how much that is changing in the middle sector. Austin. We lost Austin once again here, but still keeping an eye, though, on some of the air cars. We mentioned Brian Bennett. He's currently trying to keep track. Broski's ran away from a lot of these cars in this pack, including Lyndon Swaby this past lap as well. That's Nathan Medina you're looking at on screen. The 8th position, just about 10 seconds back of your leader. Five laps to go here from Mount Panorama Circuit. Again, glad to have you with us here on Grid Vision for tonight's coverage. Thomas Hines, Verwetman, Morden, Hill, Bennett, still your top 5. Your transfer still controlled by Jake Fox by 9 seconds. He's continuing to hold on to the bubble spot by a sizable margin. Let's take a look at a replay, though. What happened to some of the others in the midst of the racetrack? Well, that's definitely something broken. And that was one of the drivers, correct me if I'm wrong, was in contention for the transfer spots. That has moved Lottridge up a spot.
Yes,
we can confirm.
Robert Northway, who was just involved in that wreck, that has moved him back 10 positions from where he started this race.
Definitely broken axle, though. Northway, at the least, still trying to bring his car back on his own. But that's going to cost Northway a top spot when it comes to the second race of his night. So the pressure a little bit now off when it comes to Lottridge, but that applies more pressure possibly to the next car back. Phil Otto, all of a sudden goes from not sure what's going to happen in the Kingsman Racing Machine to first one out in the Audi. And here's the thing, Lottridge has damage. A clean race car still for the red machine for Otto. Can he find some pace here? He was a second off despite Lottridge's damage last time.
Yeah, Otto here. He has been keeping up, though. Every single time we have pulled Lottridge up on the camera, we have seen him just in the background here. Well, more in the longer straights here. This part of the track is a little tight there. We did just catch the tail of Lottridge, but he does have what it takes to catch up to Lottridge, I believe.
See if he's fully able to back that in once things roll. Still going to need a little bit of luck to get there. Maybe some draft from a lap car or two. That doesn't seem to be the potential case yet. A reminder at the moment that tonight's action brought to you by the pre-qualification sponsor Men's Health Trust New Zealand. It's the extra qualifying charity for this race. It's a charity that's currently preparing for Men's Health Week in about 2 months or so. That celebrates and also aims to improve the lives of men by inspiring them to make positive changes. For more information on the charity, check them out at menshealth.org.nz. Back to the racing on track, though. Looking still at Medina and company. He's just been able to keep a solid enough distance from Lyndon Swaby, but Swaby's slowly getting close to the draft.
Those brakes just glowing as he goes around the corner. They're getting quite hot. A lot of braking here at Bathurst.
Requires a lot of brake power, but also a lot of preciseness on said braking point. You miss one braking point, we've already seen what can happen in the heart of the pack. There have been times where top split action has taken place where 20, 30 cars have crashed into one corner because of one slip up. Or you could be in the case of Team Redline a couple years ago in Bathurst special event racing where you have Max Verstappen go to bed, the car flipped over 3 times, he wonders what's going on. By the time he wakes back up, that literally did actually happen around 2020, 2021.
I can only imagine just the chaos. Well, we did see a little bit of it all with the jam up there on the first lap there, but with such small, not so wide sections of this track, the chaos just it gets bigger and bigger. Every car just piling in.
I will say this in terms of what we're seeing from the team side. Evolve might be contenders to get the overall win by the end of the night, at least for the third race, I mean. They've got a lot of cars that have been able to keep up. Once your top leaders, if some of them can work together here, that might be big for them for the next race coming up here for race number 2.
Yeah, these Evolve cars have been very, very dominant here in the, well, like we're not in the early goings of the night, but not the race here. 3 laps to go as of now, as they just crossed the start-finish line again. But yeah, they've been great, absolutely fantastic.
As they continue to shape up here with 3 laps to go, I want to quickly talk about the championship complexion of things. Christian Challoner is amongst those curling the air split. Came in tonight 78 points up for the overall championship over Banfield. Nathan Dowd, Dom Ambronitis. Kevin Hill, he's having a solid points night. If things shape up, though, he is right now 4th to start in the 52 machine. He came in tonight top 5, but yet to get a top 5 all season and an overall race. For at the very least, depending on how they keep the data down when it comes to the statistical top 5s, at the very least, he can get a heat top 5.
Well, yeah, this is very, very impressive for what his average has been this season. So, yeah, I believe he does have what it takes here to have a top 5 in race 1.
You know who's doing really well, though, in this group being 2? A couple of the drivers we've seen. Sports Silver, Austin O'Neill, the points leader for that coming in tonight. Still in the top 10 overall. He's beating several of the pro-ranked drivers. He's currently battling with one of his championship rivals. Tied for 2nd in that title fight, Lyndon Swaby, who's just in front of him. So a chance to be able to build upon a buffer. O'Neill hasn't been able to get a win yet in any official race, but he has been running solid enough to be able to get consistent points that in the pro side at least would also see him towards the top half of the field.
Well, I must say, much better Austin on track than I would be.
I don't give yourself some discredit. You can run good on the ovals.
Oh yeah, definitely not this though. This is a whole different breed, that's for sure.
Len Swaby still playing good defense though on O'Neill. A little bit of argy-bargy to the bumper. Austin O'Neill wants to be able to get a spot on his championship rival in Sports Silver. Looks like the give and take, though, prevails with 2 laps to go at the stripe. The lead still 7/10 up for the 20 machine of Hines. For weigh-in, Curley holding on to 2nd. Morden back to 3rd. He's currently still trying to keep away for the clutches of Hill and Bennett. These top 5 seem pretty stationary, but this is not stationary for Vrosky and Medina. Changing spots, a slow up for Vrosky.
Yeah, we might see some evolve violence here, but actually, look, not so much. Trevor just lets him by.
Very easily done in the midst of the pass. So Medina up to a race high 6th position. That's where he started this race, mind you. Well, then Swaby still getting argy-bargy though. Robbie Bradbury watching in the popcorn seat. In fact, Bradbury's trying to late break it again into this battle.
Yeah, we just saw Austin O'Neill there come around the corner, and he had a bit of smoke coming off his tires as he was just trying to have that good entrance into the mountain section here.
No place to pass, though, up on top of the mountain unless somebody makes a mistake. Lap and a half to go in the first races of the night here on Grid Vision for the Major Series. And right now, this is the big difference. Drivers like Hines, drivers like Swaby, much stronger at the top of the mountain. Hines, again, picked up near half a second top of the mountain. Swaby gained about another 10th or 2 to be able to build a buffer for the draft.
It's very impressive driving in the mountain section there. Just like I mentioned earlier, just keeping the movements tight. maybe here in the next race here we'll get some on board of these drivers and their motions over the mountain.
But Swaby, because that top sector going to be tough to reach. Same for Thomas Hines. He's coming up towards the final lap. White flag waiting, coming out of the final corner. Final time around is a clean run again through Murray's Corner. The 20's been clean all race, and he has broken the draft. 1 to go, presented by Ryco Performance. Thomas Hines looking to close it out, up by 1.2 seconds.
Take a look over here at the transfer position. Jason Lottridge just holding it down.
And Phil Otto can at the very least see the transfer, but seeing doesn't, provide the needed attempt to pass. You kind of need to be more than just seeing. You need to be on the bumper.
Yeah, the only time you can really see him is in these stretches here.
And he still needs 3 seconds to be able to try and get this away. Lottridge has been able to keep it calm since. Jake Fox, he's still holding on to 14th. And everyone else seems to be cooperating at the very least in these packs, even with Seb Tixier in this grouping. Roger Shank leading this grouping of Christian Abadi for reference right now, keeping it nice and tidy since the early going. Things have calmed down a ton.
Take a look at our leader here as he begins to start his descent down the mountain on the final lap.
Oh, he picked up a little bit of wall that time. That was the first main mistake really all night for Thomas Hines. But he will very likely be a contender for race 3's victory with how he's been running so far tonight. Already, he's led almost all the laps tonight. 8 of the first 10 went his way. One final sector, run to the chase. Even with a sniff of toe, Verweyland can't gain compared to the Hyundai in front.
So proud of him for graduating to top split.
Thomas Hines started off the night in prime fashion. To Murray's Corner to close it out. Thomas Hines blinks the lights. He knows he's off to race 3. He wins race number 2 to start the night. Way in second, Justin Morton comes out in the top 3. Hill and Bennett, your top 5. Nathan Medina holds on to 6 over his teammate Bobrovsky. Swindon Swaby did hold off the charges of O'Neill, with Robbie Bradbury the same. The rest advancing include Joshua Wolf. Roger Shank and Christian Abadi are battling for one final spot for 12th and 13th. Doesn't matter, they're both in the show. Fox 14th. And only one more car to cross. Jason Lottridge with the Fusion logos makes it through and holds on by a couple seconds to advance.
Yeah, these drivers should feel very proud of themselves. They had a great race, and now they get to show off their talents in the top split later on tonight.
The rest of the field still yet to cross the stripe. First one out is Phil Otto. For many drivers, though, the next race coming up here on Grid Vision is going to be the one of needing to recover. Northway very comfortably was in before his incident. Others didn't even make it the full lap before their troubles started to build. So a few drivers need to go to the drawing board.
Yeah, if you took the mountain section there and the way you drove this race, you're definitely thinking about how can I change that to get through there faster for the next session.
Take a very quick break. When we come back, we'll go through the results once more, then get ready for the swap over. You're watching Grid Vision for the Major Series here from Bathurst. Welcome back once more to tonight's coverage of the Major Series here on Grid Vision. Thomas Hines picked up the win with Vervleuen, Morden, Hill, Bennett, and Medina, your top six. Trubowski finished off in 7th with Swampy, O'Neill, and Bradbury in 10th. The rest of the drivers advancing directly to top split tonight, Austin. That includes Joshua Wolf, Roger Shank, Christian Abadi, Jake Fox, Jason Lottridge, a 48-second spread amongst them. It was close for a lot of these spots, but in the end, some bigger names going down to race 4.
Yeah, we're going to see all these drivers here racing later on tonight, and well, we'll see if they are able to change their fortunes.
Once those drivers looking to change fortunes, though, Brian McGravy 2 down, Robert Northway finished DNF 5 laps down, Stephen Paulison only made it a couple laps. He's done well at times. Joseph Holman made less than 2 laps. Your last of those running. Also out of the show, Wayne Taylor, Joshua Mertz, and more. So right now, the drivers getting ready for the swap over here. They were given the estimate of about 15 minutes from now, but we'll see how things play out in terms of speeding here. What are the expectations down for race 4 when we see that coming up? Because some of the drivers have a lot more speed than they were able to show. For example, we mentioned Tixier having tech issues. Apparently, he hit the on and off button by accident when he was cleaning his VR headset before the race. That's why he missed the grid.
Oh, I race exclusively in VR, and I've 100% been there. That is not a way to go out. But just to answer what you were saying there, I really believe our next race, unfortunately, is going to be a little bit more chaotic than what we had this one, especially on that opening lap.
Especially with the urgency of top 5 move on. If you're out of the top 5, you're off to race 6. Race 5 is considered that final split 1 for this round. On that note, let's take a break. When we come back, the session swap over race 4 around the corner. You're watching the Major Series and its Pacific region here on Grid Vision. Welcome back, everyone, to tonight's coverage. Once more, here on Grid Vision for the Major Series. Pacific Region continues on its race 4. That gets on the docket next, and the pressure ramps up about 200%. How does that ramp up? Well, this is the race where if you want to be in top split to close out the night, you have to get in the top 5 here at the mountain. And quite simply, any issues, and you're out of the top split tonight, Austin, to close out the night.
Yeah, these drivers, we see some names in here that we normally don't see in any of our coverage, like some, say, Nick Kuhn here, but these drivers, it's going to get chaotic. I don't think we've seen as much of a diverse field as we have tonight.
A lot of bigger names in this field, like Kuhn, you mentioned. MTCR, we've seen in the last one. He had tech issues in the last one. Greg Macarini, his goal on social media, not to be flipping upside down like his main pictures on social media. Mark Santana has shown good speed over the years. Paulison was a surprise in the last one. You're throwing our drivers like Northway, who crashed from a transfer, and more. A lot to be said. Let's quickly look at the grid. It will scroll through just less than a minute to get to the starting grid. Your starter for tonight to control the field, Adam Johnson. Phil Otto was the first out in the second race. Nick Kuhn, Greg Macarini, Sebastian Jackson, Tyler Bentley. Tom Ambromaitis, that's a big name to watch for in this one. Wayne Taylor alongside. That's Roberts and Trojan, your top 10. Rest of the field continues to scroll on the left side of your screen, including Timothy Claus, Joshua Mertz, Troy Anderson, Matt Chalker, Don Dolson, MTCR to watch for top of the board in final practice in this group. Ryan Steele, Stuart Elder, Craig Tilson, and Brian Barnes. You also throw in veterans like Hutchison, McGreevy, Bean, and Northway. Rounding out the field tonight, Robert McPherson starting off in the final corner with Stephen Paulison, Mark Santana, Joseph Holman, and starting shotgun, it's Richard Malagani for Thin Line Racing. Drivers finishing up their final checks real quickly, and then we can go racing. The engines are firing. The drivers are set. Let's go racing for number 4 of 6 on the night. Northway from the pit lane to start. The rest of the field gets underway once more from Bathurst. And already one driver loose a front nose. A little bit of contact for one of the Hondas. The nose all of a sudden snaps right back. That's a lucky break for Tom Ambromaitis, who got the best launch in the field, and half the field crashes. MTCR involved. Several more slammed to the barrier. Timothy Klaus is in it. Absolute chaos in the opening corner. One driver rejoins across the whole field. That's Don Dolson collecting more drivers.
Yeah, that is not a safe re-entry onto the track, and he does just tow it straight to the pits. A little bit embarrassing there from Don Dolson.
Significant damage for a lot of drivers there. Stuart Elder, black flags from the crash. McGreevy, meatball flag. MTCR's night continues to be a disaster for these drivers. All wow. Up at the front, Adam Johnson, Phil Otto looking to run away from up the hillside. Big time crash to start things off in heat number 4.
Yeah, it seems like the replay pulled us a little bit too far back here, but we are going to see this restart here. Oh, one car there. Just that seems to be Timothy Klaus. Right before all that chaos started, just never was able to get off the line.
It's a tough spot when you're starting off in Murray's Corner, but then pure chaos up the road.
Oh, it was not Timothy Klaus out in front, so. But yeah, we do see Don Dolson. Oh, just bumped around there.
It's great dodges, though, you see with the car you're following along with. In the midst of that, they're going to have to dodge more. That's Mark Santana you're watching with. 2 cars in front of Santana just knocked the wall down. Joseph Holman, he's got significant damage on the 222 yet again. And all of a sudden, the fire run continues from Santana in the Fractal machine.
Yeah, we talked about it. Said there's going to be a little bit more chaos than the first race there, and it does seem like we are starting that way. But Adam Johnson is pulling away from Phil Otto, who was the number 16 car in the first race that we covered.
So right now your top 3 is Honda, Audi, Honda. Then it's a couple of Hondas battling for the transfer spots right now. In fact, 3 of them. Tyler Bentley moves up. Sebastian Jackson gets bumped out of the way from a transfer by Nick Kuhn, and that stacks up Bryce Roberts. Big crash on the corner exit of Murray's Corner. at least 5-6 cars slam on through, and Wayne Taylor's now in the bubble as they continue to pile in.
Oh, it seems like some people's spotters were just not on, or I don't know what exactly happened there, but that was chaotic.
You talk about the bump and run, you talk about the ability to bang doors. That was a whole different type of that with how everyone banged into each other straight on corner exit. But a lot of drivers losing a lot of car parts. Half the field has meatball flags now. It's lap 2.
Yeah, we take a look here at Bryce Roberts' tire. That's some major camber you got going on there.
Yeah, no surprise. He just spun. Bryce Roberts and Stephen Paulison nowhere to go except stop like it's a parking lot.
You're going to go back to replay of Matt Chalker and some of the chaos that we did see there earlier.
So remember, it was a turnaround in the transfer spots that sent multiple drivers driving and spinning, and where do you go?
You got nowhere to go, and now we'll just take a look at Bryce Roberts' recent incident.
Yeah, that rear tire, if it's shaking like that, it means it's broken. That rear tire was turning with the car. That's not supposed to happen.
The new damaged model at play there, and that tire was totally out of whack.
So tons of chaos. We've had another crash. Robert Northway just crashed. He started from the pit lane. It got him a few spots. Northway is having a disastrous run. And Kiwi Simulation Machine, this is a home race for him. He's had 2 crashes in 2 races, has made it about 4 laps combined.
Oh, tough hit. Yep, and that engine is expired.
And Northway's disastrous round continues, a former Major Series champion. Back to the conversation on some. We talked about just how tricky this corner can be. You have to get it right. He was wrong with how it drifted the whole time.
Oh, just devastating. And it looks like Matt Chalker is having, pit road. Coming down pit road after his incident running into the cars that were stopped.
So he gets the meatball flag taken care of. There is a fast repair available. But the battles are on amongst the top 4. That's Tyler Bentley. He's one of the quicker cars on the racetrack. A good note forwarded over from the owners from U-Dogs was today the Honda is expected to have the better straight line speed. Bentley's using all that straight line speed to his advantage. That's compared to the Honda, that's a better braking car and a better corner taking car. And the Audi, people forgot the Audi existed.
Well, that seems to be the common thing that happens to series when they have a car come out. The newer cars are always driven more often. What I'm trying to say.
But that leads to a funny thing here too. There's hold on trouble. Race leaders missed the corner through Skyline. Adam Johnson just cut the corner massively. He's going to have to give up the time gained. Adam Johnson has to serve a slowdown and fast. How does he do it without losing the lead to Ambrose Midas? He just did. He barely avoids the black flag.
Just be wide and hope the car behind you does not hit you.
Here comes Ambrose Midas though. He's been very solid in these types of races. He gets the mega run in the mega Honda. Side by side, faster in the straight line based on the draft poll from beforehand and clear by a few feet heading to the chase.
Yeah, we do have another incident on track. It looks like Brett Trozen, who is now in the pits, will go take a look here from the Grid Vision Chopper.
And yet again, this corner will make you pay.
Just not in time.
Somebody definitely made contact there. Couldn't see which driver that was there, but somebody's going to be definitely dealing with some chassis damage, possibly. So we continue to rumble on after the incident seen on the racetrack. all that's well. Your transfer spot is controlled by Wayne Taylor. And with everyone else catching on fire and turning into a wrecking ball, Josh, he's too busy fighting for sixth than rather battling for the transfer.
Yeah, they're losing. Looks like they have been losing time here the past few laps to Wayne Taylor, who did take that fifth position away once there was that incident. But yeah, it doesn't look like Craig or Sebastian will be able to have anything for Wayne.
Quick update for comparison on how the third race is going on. Heat number 3. Right now, Ross Banfield is currently leading that respective race. Thomas Hines, as expected, running for the lead. Then you have Eric Strapoli, Austin Milwain, and Nathan Downer amongst that current top 5. Remember, top 25 advance from that one directly to the final top split race. Still, though, expecting things to possibly pick up here for Bentley. He is very quick, mind you, in this. We've seen some good runs as well in the past few years from Bentley in the majors. This might be up there because he is the fastest car on the track without draft right now.
And honestly, I might say one of the best looking cars on track. That is a good looking Elantra.
That's designed by a company called Nightfall Graphics, by the way, for Thin Line Racing. But Bentley runs in a couple different series. Ohio club driver on the platform. He's been solid on the road courses, at times the major series, and this is up there again. As I said, he's up there as well in speed without draft, gaining about a couple tenths to the leaders without the pole.
Just sends it around that quarter. Just like it says on the side, he is running a thin line.
So coming up to halfway next time by, the leaders now starting lap 5. Ambronitis doing Tom Ambronitis thing so far. Now that he's got the clean air, Adam Johnson is losing ground and fast.
Yeah, it just looks like that gap is just getting more and more wide in between 5th and 6th, even though Craig Tolson has managed to gain 13 positions since the start of this race. Just not going to be enough, it looks like, unless we see some drastic happen to our top 5.
The funny thing is, when it comes to Tom, and this gets into the conversation now, a couple members on the iRacing's production staff have become major players in the major series. Most people do not realize this until they check on your current race leader on socials. He's actually the vehicle production associate, or one of them, at iRacing, essentially the same department that Christian Chowder works on. He's also someone, remember, who has been able to race in world championships. Before he got that opportunity with iRacing to work with them directly, he did run with Ascari Autosport in the Porsche Esports Sprint Challenge to try and make the pros that year.
So does this mean you just got to be fast working iRacing?
I mean, if you're fast on the racetrack, there is the mindset that you know how to set up the car, and if you know how to set up the car, that can be good assistance. It just so happens a lot of people on the platform who also know that case are also good at programming.
Well, it looks like Don Dolson here having some more issues on track. We'll get another look at that from the Great Fishing Chopper.
Yeah, this might be Don's race. He has not had a good night. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, that car looks evil.
Go back to the live action here.
I was gonna say, you can take side by side. It doesn't seem like he's got the feel in that right now, and obviously on the tow truck, the second crash of the night. Halfway already this time by. Let's go back over to the battle that's now formed up behind these cars. That's Jackson behind him. Remember, he was just around the stack up, got turned around. He's still in the race to be able to battle for the bubble spot. He's catching up to Craig Tilson here for reference. And if these two could work together and link up, that could change things, because everybody else is too busy fighting for 8th.
Yeah, being side by side here through these corners, especially at the end of the straight here, will definitely slow this pack up a little bit more. But it does look like Mark is able to just step in behind.
Yeah, it's almost like these drivers are fighting more so for track position for the final race than they are thinking about if they can get the top 5. Because the more they do this, the more they lose time. They're losing about a second every time they get side by side like the last race. And here we go, more time lost. Bad run for Mertz. Here comes Holman, Brian Barnes, and more.
Thought I'd never say that about Elantras, but they are good-looking cars in this game.
Did you just call iRacing a game?
Yes, I did. Yeah, but it is a sim. It's a sim game.
It's a lifestyle.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I'd say most games, most sports, they're a lifestyle in their own way. So I feel like I could be forgiven for saying that.
As we continue on here, I'd like to remind you tonight's action brought to you in part by Majors Garage. Unlock your racing potential with Majors Garage. If you're ready to take your experience to the next level, look no further. It's the ultimate destination for top-notch iRacing setups and expert coaching, and is the official setup shop, of course, of the Major Series. If you want the chance to have pro-level setups, to have tailored coaching, and prepare for, say, the Major Series, why not go somewhere with proven success, precision setups, personalized coaching, and community support? Are you ready to rev up your racing journey? Visit Majors Garage now to learn more. Drive with confidence, race with Majors Garage. I was about to say, it is a major support as well. Someone's going to need some support from the pit crew now. That is one of the UDOX cars that has completely lost their front end. Here we go again.
Ronald McPherson finding himself in trouble, and definitely we'll be seeing him next race.
Yep, oh my.
Ooh, that tire went flying. I feel like I have to get a shot from from the left front quarter panel there of that incident. And watch this explosion that is the left front tire.
You go driving, slipping, sliding, and...
Oh, that was the right front.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
iRacing moment. I guess the tether put the tire back immediately?
Yeah, it's just,
It definitely isn't driving like it's got a tether to the tire. It looks like the right front's gone. Or it wants to be gone because it's definitely not attached to the tie rod. He's going to miss the corner again.
I can watch these tires flop around all day.
And he's got a problem. He's got to cut across the racetrack to go to the pits, and Bryce Roberts just has the awareness to be able to get through. Looks like he'll be fine in 24th. 5 laps to go for the race itself, and the lead is now up to almost 2 seconds. In fact, more than 2 seconds. Tom is gone. Tom's a rocket.
iRacing over here, hiring aliens, it looks like. Oh, we have another incident on track.
Yeah, someone else. It's Robert Northway again. And by the way, blown motor, McPherson in the pit box. Here is Northway. And he says, you know what? I'm just going to park it right here.
Been there.
Side note, please do not do that. It is frowned upon on the racing surface. Let's take a look at a battle. This is for 4th. Right now, these drivers have about 4 seconds to buffer to Tilson and Jackson, who are working together with 4 laps to go. Is there going to be enough time for these two now that they're working together to do something? Oh no, Craig Tilson is the teammate to Wayne Taylor.
Yeah, it is looking like they might be able to catch Phil Otto if Wayne is able to get around Phil. But we are starting to see a small improvement from the times of previous of Craig and Sebastian.
Oh, hold on. This could open up some doors here. Not really. If anything, that's a swap. Jackson thinks he's quicker. Now, is that going to be worth time loss on the swap at that point compared to waiting for the chase?
Yeah, it very well could. But it does seem like, oh, yeah, some heavy damage on the rear of Wayne Hutchison.
There were some apologies on the radio from the way of the 22, Troy Anderson. I'm curious, was it him who may have caused this inadvertible damage? Let's go for the yellow force elbow. Yes, it is. Yeah, that back end's destroyed on the Honda.
Yeah, we just saw saw the wing there change its shape as his rear end did just slide in the wall. It definitely did not seem like that hard of a contact, though.
That's still going to hurt him a bit aerodynamically at the very least.
Oh,
Was
sure.
not still not a transfer. Top two seem to be playing this very well. But I think all focus has to go maybe to that battle still for the top five. Because Taylor's starting to struggle a bit at the end of the run. And for his Hyundai, needs to go and figure out something fast. This is the Roadster. That is the Hyundai, mind you. That's the interesting thing with this race. If you look at the car types available, there are 4. The new one and the old one are available. So essentially you have the choice between what favorite type of Hyundai you can race in a car. How can you tell the difference? Well, when it comes to Bentley, he's the one driving one of the newer models, the Elantra mentioned. The Roadster, which is the more older car, correct me if I'm wrong, is the one that's currently in the transfer spot in for 6th.
Yeah, the Velociter, I think it's a beautiful looking car. You know they're actually, it's a 4-door. You can only open up the rear door on the right side in the production model, obviously not the race car. But they're a very interesting car, and to see it on track is something cool. I was actually really excited when iRacing announced that it would be a car, but just shortly after they brought in the Elantra as well.
So far, the Elantras have had the advantage, but you've seen a little bit on screen moments ago. There was that swap attempt. Phil Otto's now the bubble. And remember, Otto was on the bubble in the last race he ran. This is a big difference in terms of pace now in this one, though, in terms of where he was in terms of track position. The gap right now between him and 6th is still less than 3 seconds.
Yeah, the Hunter has become the hunted. He had an unsuccessful hunt in Heat 2 that we broadcasted, but we will hopefully he'll be successful in not being hunted in this one.
Still continuing on with the action, coming to 2 laps to go. Of note, we may or may not see Justin Morton in our split, because here's the thing. He was a front runner in the transfer spots. He just had a VR crash and a sim crash. Seb Tixier apparently had a sim crash during that turn 1 stack up as well. So a lot of drivers are having significant issues tech-wise that are really shaking up the points payouts for race 5 and 6.
Update your drivers, people. Update your drivers. Can't be having any technical issues in such a big race such as this.
How do you update a human being?
I see what you did there.
2 laps
Drivers,
to
computer
go.
drivers.
I know what you meant. I was just going the opposite way of logic. You know who's going quick? Seen Bentley quick. Wayne Taylor's also picked up tempo. That gap is down to 2.5 seconds at the stripe between Otto and Jackson, however. Looking at the timing sheets, it's going down a 10th of straightaway right now. Jackson's got some straight line speed. He was 1.7 seconds quicker even with the swap compared to Phil Otto last time.
Yeah, if we watch, now that we have entered the mountain section here of the racetrack, though, we probably will see him pull up a little bit away, as has been with these Velociters and their speed down the straights and a little bit lacking in the corners.
There's a lot of clean space to work with up the hillside, though. Craig Tilson is still keeping up with him, too. And if Tilson doesn't think big picture, that can cost them both the chance for the top 5.
Yeah, you gotta know when to push them, or as Johnny Cash said, when hold them, when fold them.
Oh, a big slide for Jackson. That's going to cost him a little bit. He had already lost about a second at the top of the mountain compared to Otto's pace. Otto's lost that time back coming out of Force Elbow on the interval. White flag coming up this time. Wall scrape behind as there is Otto. All while Ambronitis continues to lead up front. He is the quickest by far out of any of the races right now. 121s lead the way around the racetrack. He'll take the white flag this time by. A dominating run for Tom ever since Adam Jackson's mistake up in Skyline. He's been running away and running away quick.
Yeah, it was nice for him to come join us here for this second race that we broadcasted tonight. But, maybe sometime in the future we'll get another race with Tom.
Of course, the one to go, presented by Ryco Performance, on track right now. Top 4 seem to be very secure. Phil Otto trying to make sure he stays secure. It looks secure, though. It's still 2.5 seconds. If it wasn't for the draft in front, it might be different. Here's the thing. He's lost the draft. In fact, he's slower this straightaway by 4 miles an hour. Sebastian Jackson might barely get some drafts here, but it might be a lap shy.
It's always a shame when you think you could have done it if you had one more lap. But, yeah, it's only 11 laps here at Bathurst.
Going to need to push as hard as possible. He was in the bubble spot, remember, before getting turned around, recovered from, well, half the field crashing behind him as he finished up the recovery. This is going to be a hard pill to swallow if he does not close up this gap back to the spot. He is, again, chipping away top of the mountain. Phil Otto's been better up to Skyline, but it's been Jackson much better to Force Elbow.
Yeah, he is just sending it, but here is the proving point of the track coming down the hill. We'll see if he's able to hold it while still gaining time there on the Audi.
No slide this time. Still not close enough to be able to pounce. He needs a mistake from Otto and fast if he wants to get into a transfer spot. Final straightaway, not close enough.
No, he will not be close enough. It looks like Phil Otto will be graduating to the top split.
All that's well through the final corner. Tom Ambronitis goes to a track meet, ends up running away from the rest of the field. Give him Usain Bolt type of speed, why don't you? Tom Ambronitis absolutely dominates to pick up the win in race 4 here in Australia. Adam Johnson holds on a second. Tower Bentley, a top 3 run. And rounding out your top 5 transfers, Wayne Taylor for Middle Finger Racing. He gets through the carnage. Phil Otto holds on by maybe a lap over Fractal Sebastian Jackson. The rest of the drivers look to close things out. A lot of the Middle Finger Racing machines look to be in race 6. One driver's had an issue at the pit entry in Robert Northway. But a lot of these drivers just racing for finishing position from here. What happened to Northway? Remember, he's had multiple toes, and I guess he decided to just park it?
Yeah, you gotta at least finish your lap. That's unfortunate.
We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll look through the race results. Then get ourselves set up for the final race of the night here on Grid Vision, Race 6. You're watching the Major Series race results after the break. Here's a look at your race results. Tom Ambromindus picks up the W by nearly 8 seconds over Adam Johnson. Bentley and Taylor, along with Otto, advanced to top split. That's race 5 on your docket. Rest of the field looks as such. Tilson, Jonathan Bana going to the race 6 grouping. Then it's Brian Barnes and Joseph Holman. Drivers also out of the picture. Malagani, Macaroni should say. Mertz, Paulison, Chonker, Klaus, Santana, McGreevy, Elder, and Steele. And the rest of the order had some rough runs. That includes Troy Anderson, Bryce Roberts, Wayne Hutchison, Brett Trojan. And your DNFs include McPherson, Dolson, Northway. Will count as a DNF because he parked it on the final lap. Nick Kuhn and Sep Tixier has not had a good night. Whether it's VR issues or not, he's already informed the race control admins he is done for the night after finishing last in race 4, Austin.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. It's very disheartening when you have like 2 major VR malfunctions like that in a row in 2 very important races. He definitely seemed to have had the speed to move on, but just not tonight for Seb.
But race number 6 could get interesting because here's the thing. It was the top 25 who just advanced from the previous run. And getting the data on who did not make it from the show is interesting because the drivers who did not make it are some big ones due to troubles. Shane Vickery, Austin O'Neill, Roger Shank, Lyndon Swaby are amongst those who did not advance. Justin Morton, his crash from up towards the front also demotes him down to race 6. Those are all fast drivers we've seen look to be contenders in race number 2.
Well, we're saved. We're in for some exciting 11 more laps to close out the night.
Take a break. We come back. Race 6. You're watching Grid Vision for coverage of the Major Series. The MTCR Australia round continues after this. Welcome back to tonight's coverage of the Majors Series, the second split. Once again, for coverage throughout the year here on Grid Vision, the MTCR Australia action continuing on from Bathurst with race number 6. Before we get going, I'd like to remind you tonight's coverage brought to you in part by Ryko Performance. At Ryko, more than just a setup shop, we're a performance provider providing you weekly data and setups to get you ahead of the curve on the competition. Whether you're a seasoned sim racer or a weekend warrior, our cutting-edge data packs and one-on-one coaching sessions are tailor-made to push the limits of yourself and your virtual race car, giving you the winning edge you crave. Why choose Ryko? Well, for craftsmanship by a team of seasoned builders, cutting-edge performance enhancements tailored to your vehicle, so it's unrivaled coaching reliability to handle the most demanding circuits on iRacing. For more information, visit Ryko-motorsports.com, where we build champions and deliver results. Getting ready for race number 3 still on our coverage slate, race 6 overall. Here's what's coming up during the week. 2 different Ryko provided broadcasts, in fact, during the week. Top split action on Monday and Friday. Friday being for LAS, the Monday being C Open and B Open. Then it's Champion Truck Series racing on Tuesday with Thunderclap Wednesday. It's an all-Dega week from Alabama here on Grid Vision Derby.
Yeah, it's honestly my favorite week of the year, whenever we can have all day, all week. I love me some super speedway racing, and I am most certainly going to go lose my rating this week.
I'm going to do the exact opposite of lose my rating. Now, when it comes to tonight, the race 6 portion of the card, going to have some big names. Justin Morton had a sim crash at about halfway in race 3. That puts him into this split. Shane Vickery finished the lap down. Ryan Steele, amongst those who is also back there as well. Roger Shank, we've seen in race number 2 earlier tonight, is back with us to close out the night. A couple drivers that show good speed. Well, they're going to have a lot of opportunity. How about 6/10 up in final practice for Morton in response to him having troubles last race?
Yeah, well, did we even, was Morton in our first one that we broadcasted?
Yes, it was.
Yes,
he was.
Yeah, so he definitely put down a good time during practice here, but he'll just have to make sure he avoids all that chaos, because I don't believe he'll be starting P1.
Or could do the advice of update your drivers.
Yes.
And make sure you have the backup computers ready, all 17 of them, because you never know when 16 of your sims crash and you get 17th on the docket. Please don't do that. You need money. Now, let's talk about the race itself, because the drivers are about to hit the starting grid. Let's see how they'll sort them here tonight. 28 cars to close. 2 drivers did close out the round by submitting DNSs to end the round. Shane Vickery will be the control car. Austin O'Neill, Roger Shanklin and Swaby, Morton and Jackson the top 6. Then it's Tilson and Jonathan Bean. Then it's Brian Barnes and Joseph Holman who will start in the 10th position. Rich Malagani in 11th, Greg Macarini in 12th, Mert Paulison, everyone else on down from here. Essentially how they finished out race number 4. Remember, top 5 from the last race were plucked from this split up to top split to close out the night. Amongst the many names in the back of the field for this one, Robert Northway looking to recover in his home track. Nick Kuhn expected good speed, instead he crashed early in the last race. And a few others looking for recoveries like Steele and Hutchison. Waiting for the last driver to make their way to the starting grid before we go racing. 11 laps up on the board. Field set to go. Are you ready? Someone jumped the start of the back. We're underway for the final race of the night here on Grid Vision. A lot of tire spin. Stephen Paulison already called for a jump start. Vickery holds on to the lead. Second spot, barging doors. Roger Shank forced to lift in the mad car. Austin O'Neill with the Fractal Machine takes the spot instead. One driver hard of the field spins. It's Paulison with a disastrous beginning of the race. Not only does he have a black flag, he loops it. And at least one driver's blown a motor. That driver that blew the motor is Stuart Elder with a crash, and now Paulison's got problems in a broken suspension.
Tough start for both Elder and Paulson there. But at least Elder will be able to get around track and get that fast repair used.
Two drivers, disastrous starts for them, but up front, it should be a big-time battle amongst your top five. Vickery already looking to break away, and we've had problems. This is in the cutting. At least 2 to 3 drivers against the wall. That's Brian Barnes. Jonathan Bean also having troubles, and they are stuck there. They are right at the edge of the racing line.
Yeah, take a look here at Barnes with the Grid Vision chopper and see how he got himself in that predicament.
Yeah, wheel hopped it.
Yeah, the car on the inside just got into him and caused him to turn around there. It looks like Jonathan Ben.
And Jonathan's... Yeah. Brian Barnes was the only one of the two to get a meatball flag from that, but... Yeah, Barnes didn't look stable under braking. Oh, they both didn't look stable. In fact, one wheel hop, and then you also have one wall slam.
Just compounding elements there coming together. Not a good start there for the two of them.
Shane Vickery, meanwhile, looking to run away. And for Vickery, we've seen some good speed from him in our splits all season long here on Grid Vision, but also through those on SimSpeed. We talked about him in the midst of that battle. He tied for second, in trouble. Speaking of that battle I was about to mention, that is Sebastian Jackson, who's just had to tow it. The 87 from 6th had been trying to get past by Lyndon Swaby and Craig Tilson. Swaby tagged him.
Very unfortunate, but our leaders, we got 3 cars here starting to break away. Roger Shank just right behind them. Nice to see Roger Shank near the front. Oh, way behind there. What was that?
Somebody missed the runoff and somebody just parked it. What just happened? There's a Richard Malagani.
Yeah, we're definitely getting a replay of that. Looks like a loss of brakes. Someone cut his brakes in the pit.
I think he might have to go a little bit back, though, because Burry's corner, he had a clean car. Front straightaway, he didn't have a clean car, Darby, and I almost wonder if he broke the suspension. We'd have to take another swing.
Yeah, we'll see when he just had a off-track moment here. Maybe this is it.
Cooked it.
Oh, it just bounced off. This car's made out of Bumble.
I'm sorry, what's Bumble?
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Bumble's bounce.
I'm not sure where you got that from, the Rudolph the Red... race cars. Vickery is holding the chain and the train. Well, Austin O'Neill still up there, but Shank's still holding on to a top 5 run. That top 3 is going to get interesting, though, with what we've seen from Morden so far tonight. Good to see some huge runs from him. He wasn't as good to close out race 2, remember. He fell off the leader of that race. This time, though, he seems to be dead even on pace to the car in front.
Yeah, they're both. I believe they're both running the same car here. Oh
No.
no, one Veloster, one Elantra here. So we probably will see. Oh, excuse me. Sorry for that. We probably will see Justin Morton get up on him every single time we do get coming down the hill or starting to get back into the mountain section.
Already starting up lap 3 here. Evolve versus Fusion. And it's been interesting watching the Fusion machines. They had the rebrand, of course, this season. For the longest time, they went under a couple different banners of teams in the Major Series. Now unifying that brand essentially to the letter F. Hoping not to let it become a Super F.
Here we are with the dash cam on Morton. Sorry, what were you going to say, Justin?
I think you missed the reference for 2001.
Yeah, I most certainly did. I've actually never seen 2001: Space Odyssey.
What? I meant the year.
Oh.
It's Fairly Odd Parents.
Oh, okay.
What?
See, airplane joke. Way over my head.
They are ditching O'Neill, that's the thing. So, how do you set this back with Morton? We've seen the drop be critical, but how do you pace yourself if you're Morton to get this to where you make a move, but then know you could hold on to it, but also don't wait so long that you lose the chance?
I'm not passing unless I can guarantee myself a good exit on corner leading to one of these straightaways. So whether it just be at the end of these next few corners here where it comes out of the mountain section, or right after the start-finish line.
Morton's been able to close up a lot, though, this lap. He's within the car length. He's much closer compared to the last time around. The speed difference already up by a couple miles an hour. These cars are near dead even right now down the straightaways on overall pace, though. This could be a tight window for Morton. Looks like he's not going to take it yet.
No, we got a few more corners, though, where he will continue to have the draft here. And I expect before within 3 corners of the next lap, he probably will make the pass.
It's going to need to be picked perfect if he goes through Hell Corner to try and get that done. Seems to be waiting for the time being up to the second longest straightaway down the circuit. And that run up down that second longest straight from Hell Corner up to Griffin's Bend, it's not an easy one because it's essentially starting an uphill climb before you reach the mountainside to get the draft. Here it is here. Morton has a pole. He sees the peddler's sign. He looks to go underneath it side by side. Preferred line right now to the inside for Morton. Vickery has the chance to pinch outside. Can Morton stick the brakes? No, Vickery lets him have it.
The Vickery here might have a little bit more of an advantage coming into the mountain section, and we'll see if he does have anything before we get to another straightaway.
It's a great battle amongst these two, though, so far tonight. They've been able to pull away a fair bit on the track. Biggest movers as the field continues to progress, by the way. A bunch of drivers up 10 or more spots. Mark Santana, Brian McGreevy, Ryan Steele, Robert Northway are all up at least 10, 11 spots. Northway is up 17 so far.
Yeah, Northway having a much, much better race than he did last time when he was on the track. It was very unfortunate, caught up in several wrecks.
Yeah, he had everything but the hot dog cart at Martinsville, which is impressive because we're not in Virginia. He's trying to make passes at the top of the mountain. Does Steele let him have it? No. That's a weird place to make a pass here at this track at the top of the mountain. Steele's already been banged up a fair bit this run in the Honda.
I imagine the Aussies and the Kiwis can slam back the Glizzies if they're given a chance.
I'm sorry, what's a glizzy?
A glizzy is a hot dog.
Then what? Race cars. The Kiwi Sim Racing machine looks to become the hot dog for a pass. Morton's been able to get the lead, pulling away by a fair bit, though. Here's the look back again to some of the other battles. Once going to swap. That's Holman making a move on Tilson. And Tilson's got to slow up. Tilson just left by a second car as well. Tilson's got a problem.
Yeah, trying to see through our track events here if we can find anything that may have happened to him.
Yeah, he's in. Tilson's got a meatball flag. So Tilson has to have hit a wall to break the suspension somewhere. Even if it's a minor graze, that's all it can take to break your race car here. He did have one wall slam, can confirm, through Skyline. That's why he lost his buffer for 5th. That's why he's in already.
Tough. It was going very great for Australian at his home track, and but tonight is not going to be his night.
Back to the leaders, though. Vickery. This is kind of going what we seen last time. You get the lead by halfway. Whoever gets the lead by that swap seems to break away. It's not like how some may have thought, including ourselves maybe, where it be back and forth for a couple laps at least with the draft. Clean Air seems to almost be Kane with these drivers in this field.
Yeah, it's well, we're not used to watching action like this, and never really knew what to expect. But after calling these 3 races here, we are starting to see a pattern form.
But is it more so a pattern, or is it more so the driver skill / setup? That's that difference, because the pattern is the draft is still solid in these cars.
Yeah, but it seems like each car does have their special place where they do like to make the passes. We have seen the Hondas make more passes in the corners, but yeah, we haven't even seen much Hondas near the front of this race. Ryan Steele here in P9 is our highest standing Honda at the moment.
Yeah, that's not the run I think a lot of these drivers are going to want at this point if they're in a Honda. In fact, Steele's up for grabs for a sea of Hondas. That includes Greg Macarini. The Men's Health Machine has a huge toe in the Vossiter. Here comes Nick Kuhn with them for the pole. And no lift. Macarini gets sent. Up to the launch they go to the new tire barrier. They missed the tires at the very least, but Macarini takes responsibility despite the fact he had the run on Steele.
Yeah, very tough there, but at least they never went off the tires and got some air.
I think in the case of Macarini, he thinks he pinched out. You can argue Steele could have just lifted and reset. Steele pinched him.
Yeah, that has to be on Steele there.
Yeah, I think both drivers are going to look at the replay after that one. But significant damage for Steele. Macarini broke an axle from that. In fact, Steele has to come in too. He's got a meatball flag. Both of them do. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure the door's about to fall off.
Yeah, at least it's not as much toe damage as we've seen in a few of those other cars earlier in the night.
This will promote Don Dolson at least up to the 11th spot. Bit better run for Dolson. Steele's not letting anybody go with the meatball flag, though. He's trying to race it up. He's got 3 laps to serve it. He's trying to race it out first.
Gotta get that position. Get as many points as you can for Dog Bear. And the guy's back of the shot.
But at some point, you still need to go to the pit stall or else you get disqualified.
Well, I'm sure he'll be by this time in.
5-car train in this group as a result of all that, by the way. By the way, let's head up to the race leaders because Morton is gone. He's broken the draft. Morton up 2 seconds. Vickery, his battling is not done yet. Austin O'Neill, one of the top drivers in Sports Silver this season, is really keeping up a challenge. These are 2 of those top drivers, in fact, for the class.
Yeah, Austin O'Neill has been fairly impressive when he's seen him. That second race obviously wasn't what he exactly envisioned, as he is back here with us, but we are happy to have him. And looks like he will be able to make the move in a few laps for SAC P2.
That's the big deal, though, of can he maintain it? We've seen great pace, though, from him and his team in the Fractal cars. By the way, that was a pit stop we just seen on screen for a moment. That's Joseph Homan, who is indeed in. That was from 6 from the incident earlier on.
Ryan Steele is in pit. It's 2 service penalty.
Had to come in this time because the pit stall location, otherwise it would have been a disqualification. But getting to the mindset here, these drivers have an 8-second buffer to everyone else in the field at least. They've been in a different class of their own in terms of comfortability, it seems.
Oh yeah, they're just gliding through the track here. Even we do see Shane Vickery there. He looks like he's gets the butt end of the car a little bit loose from through the corner, even though I'm sure he has full control of the car. It does look like a little bit slippy slidey here.
Going to 4 laps to go in the race. Breezed on through. Let's quickly take quick side by side. We'll quickly refresh things. We're just at halfway here from Mount Panorama.
Hey, you know that guy who just before the green flag keys up his mic and asks, "Anybody got a setup?" Well, this is him. This is Adam, and hey, Adam needs some help. On the other hand, this guy over here, this is Steve. Steve is a solid racer and he knows his way around the garage. Steve's problem is time. With a job and a family, he can't find enough time to build competitive setups and to race as often as he likes. But as luck would have it, Steve knows a secret. He lets the Majors Garage crew chiefs do the setup work so he can focus on the racing. At majorsgarage.com, Steve can get setups for over 60 cars on the iRacing service. So no matter what series he wants to jump into, he is covered. Somebody, anybody, really should tell Adam. See you at the garage.
Welcome back to tonight's coverage here on Grid Vision. We're under 3 laps left here on the night when it comes to tonight's round from Australia. Just Prince Austin Jarby Shar with you. We've had a couple drivers that have had some issues here and there. Austin, let's break things down a little bit. You have a couple things queued up, don't you?
Yeah, we're going to take a look here first at Brett Trojan as he does come to a stop somewhere here on track.
You say stop, I say slam into the wall in a tow.
Yeah, well, he did stop. Just a little bit violently.
He is in 23rd position as a result of that one. Outside of that, things have remained, I believe, relatively calm. Still, the battle is on for second. 3.5 seconds, nearly 4 now up is Justin Morden. O'Neill, Vickery, the race for second still.
Yeah, also O'Neill was not able to live up to what I expected to happen here. I was expecting him to pull ahead of Shane Vickery, but Shane Vickery has been defending very well.
It's been dead even when it comes to their speeds right now. 2 more circuits to go to be able to try and pick up points. Vickery's in position to gain said points. There's Morden, though. Great recovery from the sim crash. Expecting him to be one of the contenders, at least for the top 10 overall tonight. At the very least, he can exit out with this race with solid points. Speaking of solid point for contention, bad exit for Vickery. O'Neill forced to try high side, elects to wait instead of sending it to Maurice.
Yeah, I say the opposite, and it starts to happen as soon as we mention it. I'm starting to think that these commentator curses are real.
Well, that's an argument of if they're real or not. That's not the place to do it. With 4 minutes to go, when you combine lap times.
Grid Vision Dark. Grid Vision Dark After Dark coming to you later on tonight, where we discuss the merits of the commentator's curse.
Oh my goodness. O'Neill, though, is trying to say, oh, my run. Shows the nose, can't send it.
No, you got to be in the perfect position and just be willing to send it in a little bit more than the car in front of you, and that just was not the corner for Austin to do so.
Give you an update on how things are going in race 5, the top split final heat. Thomas Hines is currently leading that race in a barn burner with Ross Banfield on sim speed. Currently inside the top 5, Wade Sheedy, the leader in pre-qualification laps. Austin Milwain, Nathan Dowd has been a top 5 contender all night. So both races have had relatively near dead even pace from your front runners so far.
Yeah, very impressive to see that we were able to have some very fast drivers in the second split this week, and yeah, these not a timed race, and I believe they did start a little bit ahead, 2 minutes ahead of us, so they should be a whole lap ahead.
Well, they're currently, can tell you, half a lap ahead based on the estimate, but Morden is still a half a straightaway ahead for this lead coming to the white flag this time by.
Yeah, it looks like Justin Morton will have this victory all but in his hands here if he can just hold on to it for this final lap.
Been an interesting character over the years. Built up a lot of his namesake, actually more so on the virtual side, on the short tracks in terms of the ovals. He's been someone who's raced for a good 20 plus years. He takes the one to go presented by Renko Performance here and looks to get himself a victory here in race 6 to close out the night here on the MTCR Australia round. Second place is still up for grabs though. Vickery still on defense. A little bit closer this time is O'Neill. Is he gonna get close enough for a dive? They're still dead even on pace.
Yeah, and this first stretch, it looks like as he comes over the hill, you start to get a little bit of that draft, a little bit of that pull, but yeah, once again, not enough to send it in.
Still no difference yet. He needs to be closer You can argue coming out of Forest Elbow, he almost needs to be on the bumper with how even they are.
Oh yeah, they are sending about, well, they are the same car, so they're most likely going to be putting the same amount of brake. But if Shane Vickery is driving right on the Neil's edge there, there's going to be no place for Austin really to put his brakes on a little bit deeper in the corner.
O'Neill's still keeping lockstep though by a car length. Make it half a car length as they make the way up towards Skyline this time around. Vickery better arc. O'Neill takes a flatter entry. It's just this little part here that Vickery's been a touch quicker out of to be able to set up that run for the chase.
Goes a little bit wider than Shane Vickery there, and he is right on him. Let's see if he does anything here in the last few corners.
Great timing out of Forest Elbow. Morton about to take the win, but O'Neill trying to take away seconds down for the podium. There's a look in Morton as he has to work around traffic for final time. Second place, O'Neill had to blip the brake. He's hitting the brakes. O'Neill is hitting the brakes down the straightaway. Is he going to make any move? He tries high side, tries to go for the arc. Both of them miss the corner. Into the grass goes O'Neill. Vickery goes on the pavement. Checker flag waves. Justin Morton takes the race win in race 6 here in Australia. But it's Shane Vickery who holds on after both the cars missed the corner in the chase. He keeps it on the pavement and keeps second.
Roger Shank coming down the hill. Just a quiet night for him. Able to hold on to P4 here as he crosses the line.
Saw it run for the 950. Mark Santana very quietly went from 17th to 5th. Just Mark Santana things. Robert Northway 27 to 6th. At the very least, his night of disaster ends on a high note. Same for Nick Kuhn.
Yeah, at least he has something to have a good takeaway for this night here in Australia.
Good runs for some of the others. I was about to say for Bryce Robertson, Dolson. Good battle back here. Klaus, Troy Anderson, teammates line up right behind Wayne Hutchison for the checker flag. Overall, 25 cars will finish this race here tonight. It's about a 1 minute difference from first to about 15th. But in the end, it's Justin Morton who gets the victory here tonight. Several of his teammates still to finish the race. This is still a battle for position here. Ryan Steele, Josh Mertz. Mertz has lost 2 spots this lap.
Yeah, looking through the event history, Mertz did have a couple off tracks earlier and probably came out on the wall and has a little bit of damage.
Oh, Greg McElhinney's got a problem meanwhile. He just gave back a spot to Steele for the contact. And he goes straight into the contact via air across Joshua Mertz for good measure. Well, Greg said on social media, I hope to not have my car hit a wall in the variety of fashions we've seen on social media. He came close to it happening.
The final car on track to come across is Brett Trojan. A bit tough of the night as we came back from the caution there. We did see that tough hit. Got his repair and comes home P25.
That's your final finisher for the night here on Grid Vision. So just like that, your field is complete as... Oh boy! Commercial break! He sends us straight to it.
I literally jumped there. Holy.
Welcome back to Grid Vision for coverage of the Majors Series. Here's the look at your unofficial race results for race number 6. It's Morton, Vickery, and O'Neill in your top 3. Difference 8 seconds amongst them. Vickery holding off O'Neill after a big set in the final corner. Roger Shank finishes 4th. Mark Santana in the top 5, up 12. 21 spots apiece, though, for Northway and Kuhn. Some good runs there. McGreevy, Roberts, and Dolson, your top 10 tonight, Austin.
Oh, I was muted. We are going to go from that again. 11th place, Wayne Hutchison. 12th, Timothy Klaus. 13th, Troy Anderson. 14th will be Joseph Holman. 15th, Craig Tilson. Matt Chalker, P16. 17th, Stuart Elder. Jonathan Ben in 18th. 19th will be Ryan Seal. And Joshua Mertz rounding out our top 20.
21st spot going the way of Greg Macarini. Then it's McPherson and Barnes. Sebastian Jackson from 6th to 24th. Brett Trojan was your last to finish on the lead lap. 1 lap down, Stephen Paulison for a disastrous lap 1. DNFs, Malgani and Swaby for your final race of the night. Your top runners now standing on by already. Justin Morton. First to join us from virtual victory lane. Justin, no, this is not exactly the position of splitting you were expecting, but you still get the win in race 6. How are you feeling?
Yeah, it's hard to feel disappointed at winning a race, but yeah, just not really the place I want to be, but you know, a win's a win.
Let's be on the positive note from this point forward. How was the car feeling in terms of your rocket ship tonight?
Oh, it felt great in this split. The track was so much cooler than the previous race. The car felt great. Probably the best driving it was all night. I was actually feeling really confident in the car for, probably the first time all night.
You mentioned the temperatures and the uncomfortability. Why was that unconfidence there, you would say, for the other 2 races, including the one we've seen in race 2?
Probably just most of the practice sessions I was in during the week that the league puts up weren't as hot, and so I didn't really get much time on that hot of a track. I probably should have gone solo in my own sessions with a hotter track, but it is what it is. Hindsight's 20/20.
Anybody want to give a shout out to tonight in the Fusion Machine?
I'd like to thank all the guys on the team who were able to make this week, and even the guys who weren't that still supported us. I know a few guys had a pretty good run there in top split. I know Jason was really surprised to be able to make it, so I'm happy for him to make it there. Thanks to everybody for doing the broadcast, you guys and SimSpeed, everybody. Thanks, Mike, for running this awesome league and all the competition committee and admins that put it all together.
Thank you very much for your time, Justin.
Thank you.
Justin Morning coming away with the victory tonight in race number 6. Second spot tonight with Austin Derbyshire, Shane Vickery. In an intense battle, holds off Austin O'Neill.
Thank you for joining us in the booth here, Shane. Great drive from you tonight. Tell us a little bit more. Well, it was a little bit bittersweet, being in this split, but you were able to come home P2. Tell us about it.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Yeah, it was kind of disappointing that I just had one little mistake and caught some damage in race 1 and had to take a fast repair and just missed out, which was too bad. But had an awesome race with Austin out there. I knew I wouldn't be able to touch Justin. I was hoping to be able to build a bit of a lead before he got there, but I think it was lap 2 when he caught me. So my plan was just kind of let him go and try and follow him, and that didn't work. So it was just hold off Austin for the rest of the race.
Tell us a little bit about the preparation for this week. Were you able to get a lot of practice in and feel confident at the start of the night?
Yeah, probably not as much as I would have liked. The Evolve team did a hell of a job, kind of working with getting a pretty good set going, and so I mean, the team in general did really well. I think all the rest of the Evolve cars were right up near the front in split 1, so it was good to see. Yeah, I mean, I would have liked a little more time under the seat, but I got what I could.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Is there anyone you need to give thanks to?
Yeah, well, thank you guys. It's great having you guys and doing these events every week. Thanks to the whole Evolve team for coming together and coming up with another solid weekend. And I'll just thank my wife for putting up with me doing this.
No, they definitely, they're always the strongest member of the family when it comes to these races. The wives are. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Again, that's Shane Vickery closing out the night, second in race 6. I'd like to thank him and Justin Morton for taking the time to speak with us during post-race coverage here on Grid Vision. Austin, on that note, your final thoughts from Australia tonight.
Well, usually don't come onto the mic, but tonight was one of those special nights, and it was definitely blessed to see some great action. No dull moments here in the 33 laps of coverage here at Mount Panorama.
That still brings into a busy week coming up, does it not? Because remember, we looked at the grid when it came to what's on Grid Vision. It's Dega Week, Darby, your favorite time of the year. It's the same thing as Christmas, but for iRating. Everyone gives it away.
Yes, it is. We're going to see a lot of destruction this week with Ryko. Performance Monday night top split. That's a coverage for the tops very first race of the week. And then the second B session of the week will be covered by us on Monday. And then champion it again on Tuesday. Thunderclap on Wednesday. Great action from those guys this week. I believe this week will be in the truck. And then Talladega on Friday for NIS. A long race there. We'll have to buckle in.
Should be a fun time here on Grid Vision again. For more information on how you can join in on the broadcasting slate, get yourself on Grid Vision. Be sure to contact Grid Vision on Facebook or on X or via email at info@gridvision.live. Special thanks once again go to Andrew Cardinale for Whiplash Sim Cams, providing cams used for tonight's coverage. Once again, you've been watching tonight's coverage of the Major Series. For my co-announcer and producer tonight, Austin Darbyshire, I'm Justin Prince saying so long. Enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll see you next time on The Grid.